Hello everybody, one more time, my name is Centeno, and in this episode we're going to be taking a look at how to create icons for the iPhone and the iPad applications. Let's say that you are an iPhone developer and that you have great skills for coding, but you're not so good at the design part. And the truth of the matter is that is going to hurt you in the long run, because most people use the subtleties of the icon to actually decide if they want to buy or even take a look at an application. And so the icon design might be able to modify the tendency of people to decide for your application as opposed to deciding for your competitor's application, and especially as the App Store progresses and it becomes more competitive, this is increasingly important. So this is a way of actually making your icons more attractive, so that you can be more marketing oriented with your applications. All right, so let's get to it. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to fire Photoshop, and let me just go ahead and close this document so that we start from scratch. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit File, New, and the resolution that you're going to use is 114 by 114, and you don't have to worry about this number right here because we're going to do it for a screen, not to print, so you don't have to worry about this. 114 by 114 is going to allow you to create icons for retina displays. So if you're thinking about the icon for the traditional iPhone, not the retina display, then you will resize your icon to 57 by 57 pixels. Alright, the first thing that we're going to do is create a new layer. So click here where it says New Layer in your Layers pane, and here we are going to fill that layer with any color whatsoever, anything. I actually just happen to have selected a gray there, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to change that in a second. Okay, after that we're going to select the custom shape tool, which is this one right here, and here in the shapes properties, we're going to click where it says shape here, and you're going to see that you're going to have several preset shapes that come by default with Photoshop. So let's go ahead and select this one right now. And one important thing to point out right now is that these shapes, when drawn, are drawn as vector shapes, and vector shapes allow you to change or modify the shapes without losing any quality. So you don't have to worry about having them precisely placed or in the right amount of the right size from the moment you place them, because you can modify them without losing any quality. Alright, so let's just do that. Since they have the same color, if I actually click on another layer, it's gonna look like it disappeared, just because they have the same color. So let's go ahead and change that right now, just to make that background more attractive. So the first thing that we're going to do is double click in the layer right there, and we get the layer style pane, and let's apply a gradient overlay on that. If we click here on top of where it says gradient overlay, you're going to get the properties for it, gradient overlay. And if you click in the gradient itself, you're going to get the presets that come from with Photoshop. So you can try them out and see which one is better for you, or you can create your own gradient there with the colors that you want. And I recommend just using one or two colors for the background. Don't get too interesting with your with choosing colors. It's probably better to just stay with one hue and just play with the value of it, or the brightness of it. So you can see that in this case we're just using, let's hit OK here, we're just using the same blue, but it has a darker blue and a lighter blue. So it's just a gradient that goes from lighter to darker blue. So that's the background. And then we have the starburst, and what we're going to do is just select this layer and change the mode from normal to overlay, and then change this from this gray to a lighter color, just like that. And let's go ahead and transform it by clicking the Command T and dragging, so that we actually make it look a little bit more centered, and so that we make it look better, just like that. All right. And then on top of this, we're going to put our main icon. So let's say that we're creating an application for a pet store. So let's use this one right here, this dog right here. So we're going to click and drag and just put the icon right in the center of the whole thing. Okay. And as you can see, it's already looking very good. But what we want is that effect that looks like letterpress. So let's just go ahead and do that. Again, select the layer and double click on the side of the layer, and you're going to get the layer style pane. All right, layer style pane. All right, the first thing we're going to do is click where it says drop shadow, and again click where it says drop shadow, and then let's change a little bit of the properties. The first thing is we're going to change from multiply to screen. And then instead of a darker color, we're going to select a lighter color. Okay, so you can just select the blue just to make it a little bit lighter than the blue, just like that. Hit OK. And then we're going to change the distance from 7 to 1 and the size from 7 to 1. All right. The second thing we're going to do is create an inner glow. But it's not really going to be an inner glow, it's going to be an inner shadow, but we only get inner glows. So let's click on top of inner glow and change the properties right here from screen to multiply. And if you click here in this thumbnail right there, we're going to change the color to something darker. Okay. And we can play with the size of it just to make it better. And finally, the third thing that we're going to change is the color overlay, just to make it more consistent with the icon itself. So just click, and as you can see, we can see that it changes every time that we change the color, and you want to stay consistent with whatever color you're doing. And then we're going to hit OK. So that's pretty much it. Now that you have the icon itself, then the last thing that you're going to do is just going to save it with the right format. So you come here to File and then Save for Web and Devices. In here, you're going to select in the drop down PNG 24. And that's it. A couple questions that I get all the time. Do you have to take care of the rounded corners? And the answer is no. The SDK automatically takes care of that for you. So you just design in a square format, and then you get the rounded corners for free. And then the second question is, what about the glossiness, the glossy effect? And that also is provided by the SDK, and you can select via code, you can select if you want the icon to appear glossy or non-glossy. And then you hit save and save your icon. And that's pretty much it. I hope that this is helpful, and I hope that really your icons start looking a lot better, because that's going to increase your chances of selling more apps and being happier overall. Thank you again. If you have any questions or comments, just let us know at mercados.com, merkados.com. Thank you very much and have a great day.